And 59 days out. Week 4, day 2, deadlift day. Deadlifts will be somewhat different today. We are still going to be utilizing bands, but in a different method, leading up to the top single with straight weight and no bands. And as we've previously been using the reds, these are now going away. We're going with the much stiffer green bands for the working weight on the way up. And I say working weight because utilizing the band as a secondary accommodating resistance, working my way up towards a heavy single, the sets all become working sets. While they are warm-ups leading to the straight weight top single, the band tension makes them so as they are working sets as I work my way up, but reducing the load off the ground, which is the most taxing. So follow along and you will see how I utilize bands through warm-ups as a working set, leading to the ultimate top single. And I just measured the green bands at about 140 or so pounds, locked out at the top. The previous bands were about 120, so we're adding 20 or so pounds through the green bands, and I'm adding about 20 more directly off the floor, pulling the bar away from me, making sure I stay locked into position. And now we got to get started. So, set 1, warm-ups. And now that the weight and the overall load is getting pretty heavy, we will be making adult-sized jumps to keep the focus on the working sets and not burn ourselves out on the warm-ups before we even get a chance to lift heavy. And at this weight, with this much band tension, this already will be considered a working set. So really, we had one warm-up set with 3 reps, and every set from here forward, I'm counting as a working set. And this will be the last fully banded working set, but a slight reduction by removing the center band. And now for the final working set, removing all of the bands and going with straight weight. Oh, God damn it. Fuck. Not today. While it's never fun failing a lift, this does actually fall in line with my style of programming, where failing forward is the basis of the program. You first must find the failure point so you can then pull back and progress forward through progressive overload. So I've now found my failure point, although I did notice some technique issues there where the bar moved away from me, creating a leverage issue. That is still a failure point. And honestly, I was going to take that again because I do think with the technique corrections, I could have successfully made that lift. But I've just now had over a 30-minute rest picking up the kid from the bus stop. I do not think it's wise to jump back in to a heavy single like that. So we're now just gonna move back into the back downs and the rest of the training session. And because there is a solution to every problem, that bar pulling away from my shins, pulling me out of position, made me realize I need to work on my technique and how I'm setting up. And to aid in that, I've re-added this center band to my rep work. So I'm going to be removing the Boris deadlifts, which I've been doing for the previous 3 weeks, the first block. Moving to the second block, I'm going to be doing heavy doubles with the addition of this center band, which will be pulling me out of position, forcing me to reaffirm my technique and shore up the areas where I need the most work. It's not just about lifting heavy weights, it's finding the areas where you, or me in this case, needs the most work, needs the most attention, so I can drive the areas where I need the most. And right now, that's pulling the bar into position and staying in the most efficient position possible. And for me, that's adding the center band, forcing me to drive the technique where I need it most. And since I haven't been lifting heavy for several months, removing the Boris deads and going to a lower rep but higher set session will allow me to move heavier weight, also adjusting me or accustoming or getting me accustomed to lifting heavy weights again, which is again what I need at this point in time. And I just want to touch real quick on something that I think is important in the psychology of training, whether it be strength training, martial arts, or literally anything else. And this is why I've adopted and I really like the fail forward method. So sometimes when you fail a lift, it's a technique issue. Sometimes it's a confidence issue. And sometimes it really is, you're just not strong enough on that day. But none of that really matters. You find the failure point, which is the problem, and now you can pull back and build back up and surpass that by finding the issue and solving the problem. This is a very simple method and it works time and time again, and this is all I'm doing. I'm not completely destroying the rest of my training session because I failed my top single of the day. And I'm in prep, so I really shouldn't be failing any lifts. What I did was, I looked at where I failed so I can correct my current technical issue and build the strength where I am the weakest. So this is how I drive the fail forward method. I get to the failure point, I look at the problem, I think of a solution, I put the solution into play, and then I build it up over time. This has never failed me, and I will continue to do this until it does, which I don't think it ever will. So moving forward into some more fun training, I'm still going to finish off the day trying to PR on every single movement from here on out. I never have a bad session with this way of thought. You should really try implementing some of the psychology into your own training, and then each training session becomes a singular motivating point to move forward with every single day, as every session that you put in becomes a new personal best in some way or form. And continuing on with the updates to the program, as we've now moved into block 2, I am removing leg extensions from today, where I was doing 2 sets of leg press and 2 sets of leg extensions for 4 sets total with directed towards quads. I'm now doing 3 sets total, but all on the leg press, driving more towards pushing power, as leg extensions will still be implemented on the squat day. But in this day, I need to drive more towards absolute strength and more specificity, which is pushing instead of knee extension. Ha! What you want, baby? The goats are yelling at me, but they're gonna have to wait a second. And now taking the slot of what was my seated hamstring curl, going more towards specificity. Jesus Christ, these goats are really yelling. Oh, the babies are back. The babies were taken to the vet just to check them up, but I can hear the baby screaming. So now the mommies are screaming because they've been wondering where their little babies are. Anyway, moving on. Moving more towards specificity, I believe that the GHR is a more specific to loading heavy weights for my hamstrings, while the seated hamstring curl is a better hypertrophy driver in putting more meat on the back of my legs. Well, that's great in the off season and the beginning of prep. I need to start moving towards the quote unquote harder movements that force me to drive more strength and more power, moving towards more specific movements of moving the most weight possible in the hardest leverages. So this is going to be the first time I've done GHR in quite a while. I don't know my loading yet, so we're going to try a set of body weight, and I will make my assessment directly after that. So we will start with 2 sets of 8 at body weight. Pathetic. So even though I failed my top single for the day, I did take it 20 kilos over of what I originally programmed out several weeks ago before I even started the 12-week prep. Deadlifts were going a little bit better than I was feeling, so I just kept with the momentum. As I've coined my fail forward style of programming, I've now found my failure point, so I need to pull back, reassess, change my movements, find the technical issues, build on them so I can continue moving forward from the failure point. And as I continue to build momentum and shore up the weak areas, I will undoubtedly find more fail points where I can then pull back, reassess, make adjustments, and move forward once again. So with this style of training, every session is an opportunity. Every session I can make an adjustment to find another point that I can build from and continue moving forward. And as always, make it look easy.